Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to an apparently fabulous game here, as in the bottom right spawning as the blue Terran player, the man, the myth, the legend, the Terran that I simp for the most. It's of course Cure. And in the top left, a man that is hated by Zerg players around the world for his inefficient style, but his brilliant decision making. It can only be one, and it is Dark. All right. Once you start talking about Dark to other Zergs, you can always see in their face that they don't like that Dark exists, you know? Because Dark kind of ruins their life for them. Zerg's supposed to be the race of economical efficiency, solid mechanics, you know, and just proper economy. It's a proper economic race. You want as much money as possible, as efficiently. And Dark, he looks at all those propositions and says, you know what I can do as well? I just won't inject for 5 minutes, have all my queens in the front. Creep spread, yeah, not that important. What if I just control my units real well and make good decisions? If I'm just over-aggressive. Would that work as well? 2 hatcheries in my main? Meh, no problem. And that's how Dark wins his games. And you can see the other Zergs cringe at it. They don't understand how Dark can have better results than them, despite playing these inefficient build orders. And it hurts them a little bit in their soul. Dark is... He's not really a Zerg. He's a Protoss in Zerg clothing. He's a Protoss psyop, really. Infiltrated the Zerg race and is now showing them how it's supposed to be done. Mechanics are for losers. Although he has very good mechanics. He just... Efficiency, meh, not for him. He just doesn't care. This is a man that builds 2 macro hatcheries in his main base at the 5-minute mark. Every single game. So they can then walk forward with the queens to start attacking stuff for banter. This guy's a machine. Now, every Terran player and every Protoss player in the world loves Dark. Because they're looking at a guy that gets supply blocked at 66, builds 8 Overlords, gets supply blocked at 166, builds another 8. Like, it is something beautiful. And every single time a Zerg player says, well, Zerg is too weak right now, you just point at Dark, like, well, this guy's winning. He literally just builds 7 Overlords at a time. He builds 2 macro hatches in the main, surely. There's some room for improvement there. He's one of the best. Surely there's some room for improvement. They can't say anything anymore. It is great to have someone like Dark around. Now, the reason why he can do all of this is because I think he has some of the greatest unit control, as well as some of the greatest unit movement in the entire world. He really understands when to fight and when to dodge fights. And it is absolutely fabulous to see. On top of that, he has late game control that I think in a lot of matchups can't really be contested with. I'm specifically thinking ZVT and ZVZ has absolutely some of the best late game in the world. I think ZVT he might actually be the best, and ZVZ I think it's really between him and Serral when I think of like those Hydra Viper Lurker wars in my mind, but I could be wrong. I haven't watched a super late game ZVZ in quite a while, so it's not super common. When it comes to Zerg versus Protoss, I do think Dark is very powerful, but I'm not sure if there are other Zergs that might be better than him. I know Serral is probably better in ZVP late game than Dark, but Dark is also a very scary one here. Anyway, enough about those things. We saw a CC first coming out of Cure into some type of 2-Rex, 2-1-1 style opener here. Oh, this was not a wall. I don't think Cure was aware of that. It looked as if this was a wall. If this depot was placed 1 further to the left, it would have been a wall. So that is some misappropriation of resources there on his part. Should have been, or well, just a misplaced depot really. The resources were appropriated appropriately. Nice. Little bird over here, seeing everything happen. Happy with what he sees probably. Can you get the vision of the bird? No, you can't. You can get vision of every unit, but not of the critters. That's kind of messed up. What's up with that, Blizzard? Can you tell me? Roach Warren is on the way. Carapace close to being done. Here come all the queens, and this is a common Dark move. A very common Dark move. Pulls all the queens forward. Here, 5 Overlords. Look at that. 7 Overlords. He's 7 at once. Can you imagine a Terran or a Protoss building 7 depots or 7 pylons at once? Yeah, I don't want to be supplied for the next 5 minutes. It's not how it works. But I love it. I freaking love it. Yeah, so very often he just moves on the map with the queens once he gets attacked. It allows him to skip some more units because he has more queens at the front. But it does mean that every now and again an inject is going to be missed, especially if the push continues for a bit longer than he wanted to. Forward base is being delayed by a significant amount. As it's going to be a roach opener, I don't think we'll actually see any macro hatches in the main. The forward base being delayed is also not the biggest deal. Don't get me wrong, it is annoying that it's not there, but it's really not the end of the world. Triple drop heading in towards the main base as Cure continues his attack here. His assault towards the third base. Carapace not quite done yet. Combat shield has finished. Good target fire on those medevacs. Control on those queens is fantastic so far. Good splits. Gets way more shots in than I think most other Zergs would. Some fabulous micro. This is a lot of 6 gas, by the way. Please do note that we're not really playing a low gas roach style here. It's going to be +2 carapace into +1 range. This is something I haven't seen Dark do quite before. Not quite like this, at least. This particular opener. I think the reason why he plays this is because when you're playing against CC first, you're often afraid of 2 base all-ins. Quick carapace as well as a roach warren are great tools of dealing with 2 base all-ins. 2 base all-in would hit about now, would have no chance of surviving. Links are moving in, and this is also a very common Dark move. The moment you have some space, literally send all of your links across the map. And he felt like he had some space, but did he really? As this fort is now going to get taken out. Marines continuing to shred through a couple of these roaches. 1-2 drones go down as well. We get the pickup. And this was a very big W here for Cure, who's going to get a cancel there. That means that these 7 extra drones that Dark is currently producing will not be capable of really doing anything. Double medevacs flying towards the top side. Tanks in production. Is there only a single factory right now? Does seem to be the case. Oh. Files almost connected, not quite. Cure obviously being too fast. This is why many a Terran player sims for him. Oh! That's not a cancel. That is not a cancel at all. The first macro hatch has gone down in the main base at this point here for Dark. Seems to be transitioning into a more ling-heavy style, but with very heavy gas mining. I am kind of confused as to what this is going to be. It's nice to have a lot of gas if you're going to play Lurkers. Ravager, Lingbane, Viper, maybe Ultras? I mean, there's a lot of roaches still as well. Like, this is not a small roach count. 18 roaches. Haven't really achieved anything. Really, if we're looking at the metrics here. Eco, upgrades, overall tech, creep spread, the amount of bases. I'd say that Cure is in a significant lead here. There is one issue with what Cure is doing, and that is that he will be forced into pushing. Probably once he starts hitting 180, 190 supply, which is right about now. It's going to be pre-2-2. Maybe +1 vehicle weapon is going to be there. But he doesn't have a fort base, so this is going to be a very dedicated attack. A committed pressure, I would call it. There's going to be a fort behind it, most likely, as 1-2 Ravagers do get taken out. A couple of Marines also end up falling. As now the secondary drop should start moving in. And I think that will be the sign for the move out as well. Yep. This is such a clean timing here out of Cure. He's gonna try to reinforce this position with Liberators as well, which I don't really mind. I think that is quite good, especially if you're playing against Ravager, Roach, Ling, Viper. If these Ravager biles are being used on Liberators, they're not being used on tanks, and that's usually quite nice. There's no creep spread at all on this high ground, which is obviously fantastic here for Cure. Tanks are not sieged up though. Why is he fighting like this? I guess because he can. Dark in a world of trouble. This double drop still on the top side. Is right now being spotted by this Overlord, but a big F2 move here. Why are these tanks still not sieged up? What? That is such an error, I feel like. In a good siege position, just slowly pushing forward with more Liberators moving in. This would be really good. Liberators are not going to add to the main army, but instead will start harassing either the main or the natural or both bases at once. We see Cure slowly pushing forward. This tank spread, this tank sieging up has been way too slow. And it allowed Dark to honestly win a lot of time. Get a little bit of creep out. Like, if there was a tank up here from the very start and then the rest of the tanks just siege down there, I feel like he already has this position at this point, you know? Double lips are being set up right now. Double drops still out there as well, as tanks need to start moving forward slowly but surely. Lips get a couple of kills, but not all that many. Queens will take care of that. This has been a really slow push out. I said it wasn't going to hit with 2-2, but at this point, 3-3 is almost at 25% already. 2-2 is done. Here comes the attack. Parasitic bombs are being hit here on the medevac. One Bane will get a connection on the left side. All the other Marines die against the Bane connections. Not the greatest fight, really, for Cure. Marines will continue pushing forward, but... oh my god. Also not the greatest fight there for Cure, who does have a fort base behind it. As mentioned before, he's gonna get a fort base behind it, but there's 4 ultras out on the map. And these ultras should allow for at least a little bit of map control here. At least a little bit of map control. I don't think it's going to be a crazy amount of map control. It's going to be like, maybe you can defend this creep a little easier. This is still a pure Marine army. So that means the moment chitinous plating as well as +3 armor finishes up, these ultras will be practically untouchable. Can Dark just move in and kill his opponent? Tank count is only at 3. 2 are being built at a time. It's always really difficult though to kill someone with ultras, because ultras they don't do so well in tight spaces. I'm not saying they're claustrophobic, but they might be. They very well might be. This is a big movement, by the way. Taking out 19 drones here. Usually it's not the end of the world. Most Zerg players have 85 to 90 workers, but that's not what Dark was doing. Dark was stuck on, what was it? 75. So then losing 20 workers is a pretty darn big deal. Here comes the attack. Lynx, Ultras, 1-2 Banes as well. Just kind of, yeah, mixed into the composition. Immediate evacuation of the SCVs. A couple of depots will end up falling. Double drops are heading into, well, multiple directions. This is a very awkward game right now for Dark, where he has a significantly better army, but he can't, you know, get his opponent to fight. Dark is in trouble. Dark is in serious trouble. Has no workers. Well, 61, but technically no. Has no fort base. Has no 5th base either. Does have a fort hatch in the main, which is nice, but... and he desperately needs more. Look at this. Look at this. This is not a fight you can win here. This is... what are you doing? You really need 5 seconds of shooting to understand that was not going to be a good fight for you. It's an ultra with +3 carapace, chitinous plating, and you have +3 Marines. It's like... you're barely scratching the surface there. I think a 5th base should be added in soon as well. And I wouldn't mind just, yeah, just a strong defensive setup with tanks. A little bit further forward. This is all really clumped up. Not a huge fan of that. I think what you do want is probably taking out these rocks. Have some vision over here. Make sure that you know what's kicking off. Right now there's not a single sensor tower, which could be considered a mistake. Mainly because it is one. Like, sensor tower at this point is so freaking valuable if you're on 4 base. And you know your opponent is only on 3. Like, it's actually a huge thing. I can't stress that enough, how big that would be. It's gonna move out. Now, this is a very crazy approach against Dark. It really is. Because Dark is the man that looks at this as an opportunity. He sees the army here, says, hey, I can give up my fort. Or pretend to give it up and maybe go for a massive run by. It's not quite what's happening yet, though. This does feel like a bit of a Dark moment. Like, you send in, what, 3 ultras and 20 links, you kill 15, 16 workers. All of a sudden, you might have a game on your hands. You might. I'm not saying you do, but you might. 6 investors on the way as well. Okay, here comes that link. Yeah, what I say, 3 ultras, 15 to 20 links. These links do have adrenal glands. That means that these SCVs are gonna fall quickly as well. There is an army here to kind of defend it, but at the same time, fungals are hitting. This is Dark's specialty. Multitasking. Doing things at the same time. Being faster than other people. It's a great specialty to have, really. Should have been a runner. Being faster than other people is all you really need for running. Such a simple sport, actually, no? Not complex at all. Just run faster than the other guys, you win. How hard can it be? Just run quicker. StarCraft, you need to be faster, smarter. Everything, you know? It's just all. With chess, you only need to be smarter, and speed is not necessary. That's why StarCraft is the greatest sport that has ever been invented. You need everything. You need to be athletically capable of clicking buttons very fast. You need to have brain power that matches a supercomputer, I think. It's the perfect game. What can I say? This is not the perfect position. If I was this tank, I would be afraid. If I were these Marines and Marauders, I'd be pretty okay with this. But you know you're gonna get picked up. This tank ain't coming home. You know it already. You know, oh, no. Pick him up! 3 Marines do get picked up here. 1 Marine and Marauder will fall together with the tank. It's a sad day for those. How is Dark still in this game? I don't know, but he has 68 workers. I think Cure actually has too little workers himself. He only has 58. So you look at this and you think to yourself, wow, only 58. Why doesn't he just build a couple of extra? It'd be such a stupid... Actually, I don't know either. Yeah, I would say just build 7, 10, 12 more workers. Saturate this base. Properly saturate your fort as well. But maybe you can just transfer workers from here. Maybe it just doesn't have the bases. But you can just get this 6 eventually. Watch this guy. Does he have neural? No neural. Oh no. This is so annoying. Oh! One more, baby. One more. No? 2 tanks go down. This is typical Dark. Why was half of his army in the main base? Did I miss something major? 2 drones went down as well. Probably nothing major then. I mean, 2 drones is truly minor. Turret gets blasted. This base is also gonna get blasted though. Dark probably wants to take the top side now. It's gonna take a... Ooh, awkward. Liberators really do make this awkward, but Ultras have so much HP. Please micro it. Please micro it. It's an expensive unit. It's not a toy, Dark. That is not a toy. Don't play with it, okay? Oh my god, it died to the lip. This lip has 2 kills, both of them Ultras. One hell of a guy. 2 bases get taken out here. Dark only lost 1, kills 2. Now that's a deal that I would take if I were Dark in this position. 53 workers at 23. This game is absolutely ridiculous at this point. But this is, I think this is a typical Dark game. It's one of these games that Dark looks at and says, yeah, is this position uncomfortable for you? How annoying. That must be very frustrating that this position... Oh my god, he's losing a bunch of investors for free. Okay, not entirely for free, but wasn't great. Like, this is how Dark... This is how Dark's dreams go, you know? In some people's dreams, everything goes right. But Dark's dreams are more like a movie. You know, where you have the little point where everything seems to be going wrong. It's like a romantic comedy. Everything seems to be going wrong. You know, the girl he loves doesn't love him back. He's in love with his enemy. And he's getting fired from his job by his boss, who's a prick. He's not spending enough time with his son. But then just like that, boom, he becomes an entrepreneur, wins the lottery, and finds the real girl of his dreams. Which happens to be his arch nemesis' sister. I think that's what we're about to see now. Truly the climax of this romantic comedy. Oh! Well, actually... okay, that was not it. That was not... That's a terrible infestor. He killed 2 Vikings. He doesn't even have air units. There's no way. Okay, here we go. I'd love to see Neural. Oh, he has Neural. He has Neural. He can get Neural. 1 tank for an infestor. Is that a good trade? Not really. There's 9 infestors, 13 tanks. Seems like a hard thing to fight. What was he taking over here? What was that? No one really knows. Oh, there we go again. Shoot again. Once more. Once more. How many orbitals do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. None of them have scans right now, by the way. Literally out of energy. EMP! EMP! Oh, nice split here out of Cure. He's gonna snipe his own ghost. I have seen EMP before, but the ghost snipes, that is really high tier. How about that, huh? Terran player, getting sniped yourself. That's actually sick. Look at this. Snipe, 1. Snipe, 2. Snipe, 3. Snipe, 4. You can't be serious. Why doesn't he just snipe it back? 5 kills. Look, guys. I helped as well. 5 kills. 4 of those ghosts. Oh, no. Would you let this guy back in your army? I think you have to, you know. You need him to win the war, but I wouldn't trust him one bit. Would not turn my back on him. This game is actually bananas, though. Right now, infestors are just being sent in one by one to take over units because scans are not available. Okay, now scans have become available. We have one more scan, which is actually kind of big. Ghosts are going to cloak up. Despite all of this insane fighting that Dark has been doing, I still don't think he's in that great of a spot. Double tanks as well as 2 Marauders and 3 Marines are going to hold this. Here comes the flank, here comes the flank. A lot of these tanks are actually not siege. Majority of the tanks are on siege. Here we go. He's going to kill his own tank there. Nice move, Fungal. Ultra's moving forward as well. And I think this might just barely be it. Or maybe it ain't. 50 army supply to 62. 40, I don't know what this is. There's no overseer. Oh, now there's Vikings. This is why I took out the Vikings earlier. This is... Oh, Amberos right in front of the opponent. That is a move to mock. That is meant to mock. Okay, what is the income? 531. Okay, well, it's actually very close. It's just peaking and dipping and dipping and peaking. Turret over here. Drop some mules. Yes. Yes, my boy. This is how we do it over here. Uncloak it, please. We're gonna need that later on. Infestor will start moving forward. Turret is about 10 seconds away from finishing up. Dark sees that. Don't forget, you can spot infestors moving. Especially off creep. That's not super hard. Once they're still, though, it's really hard to spot them. I think at this point in the game... Now, this sounds stupid. But often things that sound stupid are correct. I think getting a Raven would actually be the correct play. I think getting a Raven 5 minutes ago would have been the best thing. But you know the old proverb. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree was 19 years and 364 days ago. The third best time to plant a tree was 19 years and 363 days ago. The fourth best time to plant a tree, etc, etc. What I'm trying to say is that now would be a good time to plant a tree. Or in this analogy, build a freaking Raven, okay? We have 4 orbitals. If you can use all of those orbitals to continuously mule, I think we'll be fine. But if you move on the map, and you probably want to move on the map eventually, you don't want to scan every little nook and cranny. No, just get a freaking Raven. How hard can it truly be? Don't forget, Interference Matrix also works on infestors. It cancels their neural parasite. So yeah. Am I wrong in saying... Ooh! One more fungal. No, okay. And don't do it then. I don't care. Am I wrong in saying that a Raven here is the correct call? No. I don't think I'm wrong. I actually think I'm correct. You can even swap it with one of these factories, build a quick Raven, swap it back to medevac production. If you really care so much about your medevacs, you know? I personally just think that wasting scans, 20 scans to make sure there's no infestors around the map, that ain't a good play. There's a lot of cash coming in here for Dark. Not a whole lot of gas, though. This game is actually ridiculous, but I do feel like Cure should technically be winning. I mean, what does Dark really have, except for loads and loads of infestors? Yeah, some Lynx, some Banes, 5 Ravagers, but that's really it. Oh, this is gonna move in vision. Yep. I'm telling you. A Raven would make this entire life a lot less scary, my friend. Ooh, Ultralisk. I wonder if an Ultra is even good right now. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what else you would get, though. Like, imagine you're Dark in this situation. What would you do? Probably leave the game, honestly. Like, why am I playing a ZVT against Cure? My Zerg is garbage. Holy crap. Quit the game, queue another one with Protoss. That's what I would do. But imagine I was Dark and I actually had the skills to match, you know? What would I do? If I was literally... Well, I would be doing the same thing if it was literally dark. So yeah, this is a stupid hypothetical. People often ask that, get that as, you know, it's like, hey, what would you do if you were this guy? Like, well, you do the exact same thing because you have his brain, no? And it's the same experiences. If you were turned into a different person, you'd be doing the exact same thing. Such a dumb question. What would you do in his position, though? Now, that's an interesting one. But in my case, if I was put in Dark's position, that would be a disaster. Probably lose to these 6 Marines. Kill everything. I'd be move commanding my units into here. It would not be pretty. That I can tell you. Like, these scans, they're pissing me off. He just used a scan to kill a single Ling. 225 minerals is a scan. Another... Look! He just wasted a command center. In less than 15 seconds. On a close-by mineral patch, a mule provides 225 minerals. On a faraway mineral patch, it is 200 minerals. That means he just wasted a command center away. A Raven would have fixed this issue. Look, another half a command center. That's the orbital command. We now have a command center with orbital that we wasted. What did he get? 3 tumors and a Ling. That's not a good trade, my friends. It's not. It really is not a good trade. I do think Cure is winning here, slowly but surely building up. I just think in these types of low ego situations, I just don't understand what Dark can do. The problem is usually he could go into Brute Lords, right? Usually you could go into Brute Lords. But I don't think that... Oh my god, this is the slowest response I've seen in my life. He just lost 8 Lings, or 8 Marines to pure Ling. That should not happen. Another scan used. Misses the Infestor. Ooh, misses EMP as well, kind of. Bro... Can we get a turret? Take over the medevac, that would be high tier. Oh, 14 links are going down. 14 SCVs are going down. The natural has been breached. These links are not doing anything. If they were, they actually could have completely cleared this. I think so. I really do believe it. I really do believe that, actually. As another tank here is going to get taken out. A lot of these SCVs are falling. Dark is in an awful position. Absolutely an awful position. He's down 40 supply, but he's going to be taking out a lot of workers. If he can keep this base alive and kill all of those workers, that will be a huge freaking deal. Ravagers now connecting with these medevacs as well. Not on a spiritual level, but with their biles. Infestor still burrowed. There's a turret on the way as well. 1400 minerals a minute for Dark. 532 for Cure. But a couple of snipes come in. So do the fungals though. That means that we'll see at least one ghost end up going down. But that is going to be it for the ghost. This does not look good for Dark at the moment. This does not look very good at all for Dark. It's going to lose 2 links to another scan. It's going to reborrow as well. Could have been a mule, but it wasn't. Imagine building 2 Ravens, 1 on every side. That would have saved so many scans as well. So many turrets too. Really makes you wonder why this Raven hasn't been built yet. I feel like sometimes Terrans forget that that Ravens exist, you know? They see it as a unit that you use in TVT. Or in the early game in TVP. But that's really about it. This is bad for Dark. He's gonna try one more time, but he should not be capable of ever breaking this. Snipe goes down, Viper will fall. That can never be replaced. There's simply no cash for it. As slowly but surely Cure is dismantling his opponent. Resources lost 51k to 42. This is really good resources lost for a Zerg, but the Zerg has just not been capable of getting the money in. Usually this is no problem. If you can get the money in and you're this close, yeah, you're probably going to be fine in the game. But if you lose all your bases this early in the game, yeah, you're in trouble. We've now had 14 minutes, I feel like, of a constant base trade. That's not really a base trade. I'm not even sure what to call this. This is legitimately some of the lowest eco gameplay I've seen in my entire life. This game has been nothing short but fabulous. I actually think, to me, this has been the greatest game that I've seen so far this year. I think so. And I think very often, the games that impress me the most are the games in which a lot of unique decisions have to be made. You know, I'm not super impressed by someone stopping at 12 pool. GG gets called, yeah, Cure ends up winning. I'm not super impressed by someone stopping at 12 pool. because the 12 pool has been figured out as a build, you know? It's like, well, it's good if someone can stop a 12 pool. But it's these types of games where a lot of in-the-moment decisions need to be made that probably haven't been made before. A lot of the time in StarCraft 2, people don't realize, but a lot of the time in StarCraft 2, you're just kind of doing things, I don't want to say on autopilot, but ideally everything is happening on autopilot, right? Most situations you should be familiar with. But I think these types of games, there's so many situations you're not super familiar with, and they really present opportunities to show that you're capable of critical thought in the moment. And I think this particular game really showed that. I think it was I really do think this has been one of the most fun and one of the most interesting games I've seen in a very long time. I hope all of you agree as well, as that is going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching this video, if you watched till the very end. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.